Welcome to episode number 61 of the Keep Up Podcast,
where we believe in Rasputin.
Do you know the frog, Rasputin?
No.
From Ninja Turtles?
I thought he was from The Muppets 2.
There's also a frog.
From Turtles?
Yeah.
Is he Russian?
No, I think it's from like New Orleans or something.
Oh, that's a shame. Oh, crap.
Oh, crap.
Oh, crap.
That's how we're launching this one.
Oh, crap. Well, because, like, you know.
What?
Just crap.
So listen, you're according to my calculations, you're getting 2 episodes this week,
Give or take.
because last week was garbage, and we recorded on time and everything, and then I went to edit the podcast, and the audio didn't record through our mics.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the laptop recorded it. I don't even know.
I couldn't figure it out. It was super low, so either
It's quiet and awful.
it was quite awful.
Quite awful.
Quite awful. So yes, we ended up having to use the camera audio, which was also a pain to figure out because for some reason it wasn't exporting properly.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, long story short, we have a solution.
A solution.
Medical solution.
Mm-hmm.
You just mix it together.
Mix it up, and so you're going to get 2 episodes because one's garbage.
But it's a good episode.
It's a good episode. I was really bummed about it
yeah.
because, man, the sound quality just impacts the whole experience. But if you just listen to it and calm down a little bit, eventually you kind of forget about it.
You think everyone's just going to be flipping out like, where's the audio?
Maybe not, but sometimes, I don't know, sometimes the audio is real bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to listen to.
Yeah, but sometimes you just have bad audio.
I know.
You know what I was just thinking?
Should be past that. What?
We totally forgot to turn on the AC before we were setting up. So now we're going to be sweating the
Today?
entire podcast.
I'm fine, dude. I'm cold right now.
Dude, my hands.
Don't. Oh, why are you already sweating? I don't understand that.
Because once the camera's on, I just start going, man.
Right. You just start sweating.
So speaking of sweating,
Yeah.
I got a stupid question.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
You have something on your eyelid, and I just can't get over it.
My eyelid?
Yeah. Right now, wipe your eyelid. All right. Now it's right below your left eye. Don't start this with me.
Right below my left eye.
I think you got it. It was like a fuzz. It's gone. All right, carry on. Stupid
I don't
question.
want no fuzz.
Fuzz is a guy that what?
That's super hairy. Because he's a fuzz.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I get you.
Have we? Well, this isn't a stupid question, but you don't have any reflections?
Well, I didn't get to listen all of last week's yet
because you were so depressed by it.
I was pretty.
I was just thinking we haven't done reflections in a while, so.
Yeah, well, I do it only when necessary.
Yeah, and I just never reflect, as we
know. No, you never do.
As we established, anyways. Yeah. Okay, so my stupid question: why does Garfield love lasagna so much? Like, commonly, cats like milk and fish. That's generally their main thing. So why doesn't he have, like, salmon cereal? Or fish crackers and a glass of milk?
Well, Garfield's whole thing is his appetite, right?
He is generally hungry, yes.
So it's not just a cat appetite or a cat appetite.
But he is a cat.
He is, but his whole thing is he's got like a human fat guy appetite. A fat appetite.
A fat appetite. But, like, he can't communicate with John. So he can't say, hey, I really enjoy lasagna. Give it to me.
Is his relationship with John, his communication relationship with John, as ambiguous as Stewie's with his parents and Family Guy?
Where, like, very occasionally they can hear each other.
It's like, do that?
I can't tell. Like, because sometimes they answer.
Right.
And then it's just like, okay.
Did they ever establish in Family Guy whether or not they could understand him?
They make some jokes sometimes where they're like, I can't think of a specific one right now, but they do address it. It's like, and the baby that we just ignore all the time, or like they know we talk. So, But yeah, I don't know just why Garfield and lasagna.
Yeah, the lasagna thing. That's just the thing they chose. Why does Sonic love chili dogs?
Well, that's easy.
Why? What?
Because chili dogs are delicious. And why would
lasagna is delicious to some cats?
I don't think so. If I were to give Salem a lasagna right now, she would probably lick it and be like,
not interested.
Which we have lasagna. We could test this theory right now.
I feel like when you create an animal character, they have to have a favorite food.
That's fine, but it should be something that relates to the character, not...
Chili dogs don't relate to hedgehogs in any way.
Absolutely.
How? When have you ever even seen a hedgehog and a chili dog in the same
made
place?
Out of?
Hedgehogs?
There you go.
That is false.
That is truth.
Nobody's eaten hedgehog chili.
I bet it's been made.
Why would Sonic eat hedgehog chili?
Why does dogs eat dog food?
Why does dogs eat dogs' foods?
I got to know.
No, because the turtles have pizza.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Does it?
Well, because they live in New York and lots of pizza falls down the sewers. So.
Lots of pizza falls down the sewers. I don't know, man. Why does he love lasagna? I bet there's an origin behind that. There's probably that's not the word. It's probably a story. There's probably a reason why.
I bet there's a gritty, dark, alternate comic. This graphic novel. It's called Garfield the Cat Without a Lasagna.
A lasagna?
Yeah.
Maybe that's the last meal he ate with his wife, who was brutally murdered by the mob that he owed money to.
Cat mob, or was he human?
He was human. Then he was oozed. The last thing he had touched was a cat and a lasagna.
What if... I like this, because what if he was a fat Italian guy before and his favorite meal was lasagna? So then when he touched the cat and the ooze hit him, he became a cat and somehow got involved. John must have been his... John. Where does John come into play?
Where does John come into play?
Do you think John was part
John's completely unrelated. I think he's just the unsuspecting owner of a new ex-mob cat.
Ex-mob cat.
Ex-mob member cat.
So why don't you think Garfield tries to...
You a member of the mob? Is that the right word?
Well, it depends what his position
Join
is.
up. Join the club.
I'm here for the mob party.
Yeah, I don't know.
So that's what we're going with. He was an ex...
I think that's the answer. Yeah, I think he was a large lasagna-loving Italian man. Garfield. And then his wife, which I apologize to any mobsters in the audience. I don't know the ethics or if you would actually go after someone's wife.
Depending on how...
I feel like you would threaten one's family at some point, right?
Yes, and if it got bad enough, I guess you would kill the wife.
Which is really messed up.
That's dark.
But then the ooze thing happened, which he was just...
So he's in New York?
He's got to be.
Okay.
He was at the time.
But when he becomes Garfield, what happens? Do they pick him up and...
Well, he finds John.
Yes, but how?
Single guy. Just looking for a cat.
He's like, this is the guy I need to help me get
back
to my body. He's stupid.
How did he find him? John was out one night picking up Chinese food that he called in.
Yes, trying to pick up his lady friend that he can never pick up.
And Garfield ran out in front of him and pretended to be sick and cold. And that's when John took him home.
Okay. And then one day just gave him lasagna? Or do you think Garfield like whispered to him like lasagna?
He may have, but again, we don't know if when he does that, John's hearing lasagna or if he's hearing
meow meow. That was kind of close.
Okay, here's a fun game.
Yes.
Try to say
I love it.
Garfield. Okay, hang on. Let me see if I can articulate this. You ever have something go on in your head and then you try to articulate it and you're like, nope, I shouldn't.
That's how I speak all times.
Okay, so One day I realized the name Garfield.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you say Garfield?
Garfield.
3 syllables or 2?
Garfield.
Garfield,
Yeah.
right? 3. But the second half or the second bit of Garfield is the word field.
Right. So it should be Garfield.
So try to say Garfield and not have that third syllable come out.
So Garfield.
Yeah, I'm still hearing the 3 syllables because I'm just trained to hear that name as Garfield. Garfield.
Garfield.
Don't put that space there. You're cheating. Garfield.
Garfield. Garfield. Yeah, when you put it close together, it's like
that last
field. Garfield.
I'm still hearing the third syllable.
I'm trying to say it fast so it sounds like
Is
it's
that
not
just
there.
a brain thing? Because you only hear the word field as a single syllable?
Unless we were taught that, like, in the English language, when those letters come together, it just has to make that yield sound. Like
yeah, that's one syllable, right?
yield.
But Garfield, I can only ever hear
Garfield. That's such a stupid thing. Garfield. Like you.
Garfield.
Yeah, you just put the emphasis
Garfield.
on the wrong part.
Garfield.
It sounds like
It just comes out. I can't tell if it's something.
Garfield.
Garfield. I can't tell if it's something my mouth's doing or my ears are hearing.
I think it's your ears are hearing.
I
I
think
think
so
we're
too.
saying it right, but our brain.
Like, I know that when I say Garfield,
Yeah.
I emphasize that last syllable because
Mhm.
I'm used to saying it with 3 syllables.
Yeah.
But if I try to not, I still hear the 3 syllables.
Now, do you think that's like a New England thing? Like if you say it in a Southern accent or a
Garfield?
or like or a Valley, you know what I'm talking about, Californian accent.
Oh,
Valley Girl.
I
is
don't
that,
know.
like, what I was going for.
Garfield.
Or what if you say it like in Russian
I don't know how to
or
in
English.
Russian. Garfield. I don't know what that was. I don't know.
That's a weird one.
That's a weird one.
And now it's weird to say because we said it so many times.
I know.
that
I was
it's
just
like
thinking that. I don't want to say it anymore.
Garfield.
Ah!
Did it make you freak out a little?
A little bit.
Well, welcome to the Garfield.
Garfield.
Yes.
Football field.
Field. Football field.
Football Garfield.
Garfield.
Garfield. Garfield field.
Garfield field. That's weird.
Garfield field. Garfield field. Garfield.
What?
Carfield.
Carfield.
Garfield's Carfield.
Card feels like Garfield's. All right, what are we going into? We're talking nonsense.
I have oh, you know what?
Yeah.
Let's go into
I do have to go on television.
Hmm?
I do have to go on television.
Me too.
Okay.
But I want to go into technology first.
Okay. So we do a little backtrack?
No.
Technology's after stupid questions?
Yes.
First I've heard about it. All right, guess we're going to technology.
All right.
Technology.
All right. I will be brief. Did I ever talk about my Bluetooth headphones
I don't
on the podcast?
call.
I don't think I did.
I don't think.
But even if I did, that's okay.
Just a little rehash for
Yeah.
you guys.
So, back in December,
Mm-hmm.
I ordered a pair of Bluetooth headphones. Currently working in a warehouse, and all day I just got me and my brain
Mhm.
and my thoughts, and I'm just doing stuff that I don't really need to think a whole lot about.
Mm-hmm.
I could definitely listen to music and podcasts while doing it.
Yes.
So I was like, I'm going to invest in some Bluetooth headphones.
Yes.
And I didn't know really what I was looking for, so I found like the best-selling pair on Amazon, and I get it because they're pretty sweet. How would you pronounce that? I want to say it's like TaoTronics.
I would pronounce the T
Yeah.
and be TaoTronics.
But isn't Taoism spelled Taoism?
yes, but in this case,
Not that those headphones are
support Taoism.
related, but
Yeah,
Well-
I'd say the T myself.
it's TaoTronics, all one word.
Tao.
Bluetooth headphones, wireless in-ear earbuds. I picked them up on Amazon, like I said. They were $25.99, and these things are the jam.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I bring it up today because I hadn't had anything to compare them to before. Really, they were like my first Bluetooth headphones, wireless and whatnot. Now they're not what's it called, true wireless, where each headphone is independent. I've never used any pair like that, and my main concern when buying them is that they're going to be comfortable. Obviously, like that's a big deal because when earbuds were first like a thing, and
I hated them.
So uncomfortable.
I love them now.
I do too.
I got used to them over time, but yeah, at first I was like, this is just so weird because before that, was there only headphones?
Yeah, it was all like either overhead. So it started off like overhead headphones, and then they had the ones, I remember when the headphones that came out, they went around the back and they like went around your ear.
Weird, yeah.
Do you remember those?
I've never had them, but I do remember those.
It was a different, and you can still get them like this, but it was just a different design. And I remember that was like the thing, like, oh my gosh, they don't just go over your head now, they go behind your head, and it eliminated all the awkwardness. You could wear a hat now while listening to headphones and stuff. But yeah, when earbuds, I mean, I don't know, was it around like when the first iPod came out?
I think so. Like, it was definitely an Apple thing. You know, just like with what are they using right now? The Lightning cable for the phone. Same thing. They were just like throwing it out there, and they're like, "This will get big."
Yeah, and it was like, I don't know. They weren't always comfortable. They didn't always fit. My problem was like if I was wearing them while working out or doing anything active, like even like bending down to pick something up or whatever, they would just fall out of my ears.
Yep.
So these particular headphones have that design where they wrap around your ear individually and they hold them in. And they're like in my mind, it's like the original Bluetooth thing was when you would see people with the single Bluetooth headset.
Yeah, it's like this little like bar. Like.
Yes, exactly. It's like a bar across your ear with the earbud on the other side of it and the hook that goes around your ear.
Yeah.
So that's the design on these, and it has their wire connected.
Which I personally like that better because I feel like it would be easier to find them, like as opposed to if they were just two.
I know, I worry about losing them too.
So I like the wire better. Sometimes it's inconvenient, which we can talk about in a little bit. But with the pair I have, like same situation, like if I bend over or something, sometimes the wire like gets pushed to the other side, so then it starts falling out of my ear.
Yeah,
so it's weird how it works.
I've had that happen too, and you have to just like pull it back to the side or whatever. So I don't know. I've never had a true wireless pair. The ones I was looking at some the other day. They were a little pricey, but someday I might invest in some because I'm in love with Bluetooth technology.
Yeah, Bluetooth's something special.
It really is. So I got these things and I love them. There are other small things about them, like the buttons are great. Maybe that sounds like a weird thing, but there are some designs that are just not good.
Yes.
And they're really like not comfortable. So a couple weeks ago, unfortunately, for whatever reason, they had taken no damage or anything. I use them like daily. They say 6 to 7 hours of use straight, which I definitely use them through a full work day, like an 8-hour work day, and they die like an hour before I'm out kind of thing. So I just charge them throughout the day. But yeah, so I had them since December, and then last week or the week before, that terrible thing that happens with headphones sometimes, or like we've talked about the cassette adapter in a car, the left ear just went out, and I was messing with the wire and it was coming in and out. I'm like, oh, what the hell? Like nothing had happened to it at all. So I don't know why that would happen. And then a little while later, it just completely disconnected and wouldn't turn back on.
Oh, that's so annoying.
Yeah, super annoying. So nothing had happened to them at all. Like I hadn't dropped them. The wires hadn't gotten yanked at all. And when you're wearing them, like all the weight is on the actual earphones. So it's not like there's any tugging happening on the wire.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know what would have caused that. So I will shout out, let me find the name. Sun Valley Tech on Amazon is the buyer I got it from, and I contacted them. They gave me a suggestion on like trying to charge it elsewhere on a different wire, which I did, and that worked. The left ear was still busted. So they're hooking it up and sending me another pair because they're 12-month guaranteed.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, sick.
Yeah.
But I'm a little concerned that's going to happen again.
Right, because if it's faulty once, like what stops it from...
But I guess as long as they
keep giving
break within 12 months. But I was stoked. Sun Valley Tech, Amazon seller, was pretty great customer service, and I was excited about that. And I'm even more excited about that because the day that those died, I went out and got another pair. This was mid-work day, and I was like, I got some podcasts to listen to. I'm going to go to Best Buy and see what they got. So I found a pair.
How much were they? Let's start with that.
All right. So the other ones that I was just talking about, the TaoTronics or whatever they're called.
Yep.
Were $25.99, and I have Amazon Prime access, so no shipping.
Mm-hmm.
These ones were $39.99.
So $40.
Mm-hmm. And I want to find a listing because I don't have the all the original packaging with me.
Mm-hmm.
So they're called Jam Transit Fitness earbuds.
Mm-hmm.
Same deal. They're not true wireless, but they are wireless. So just the two earbuds are connected together.
They're not, but they are.
They're not, but they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, is true wireless like a term for that? I saw it on one package, and it made sense to me that would be
I guess
a universal term.
Because in a sense, this is totally wireless.
Yeah, these say wireless on the package.
Yeah. So true wireless is like actually
like literally
no wire.
there's no wire involved. Yeah.
That's such a weird thing. We have to get that specific.
I know. Well, as things evolve, it's so interesting.
Yeah.
So there were a couple versions. One of them of the Jam Transits, one that was on the shelf were waterproof, and the other pair, which are the ones that I got, are ultra light, which you can feel them. They're like crazy light.
Oh wow, yeah.
When you put them on, you barely feel them. Although, so these ones don't come with the hooks on the ears; they come with attachments. So like these have, if you're watching the video, you can see like they just snap off.
Oh, okay.
And so you can use them without the hooks. I wouldn't do it. I don't know if it's the shape of my ears or what, but I know that they'll fall out. Like,
yeah, it's just a weird, uncomfortable thing. These ear hooks look a little small too.
They bend all right, but if you don't have them at the right angle on your ear, they do get a little painful because they'll like dig into you. So you have to make, especially I'm wearing them for long periods of time.
Yeah.
So they are crazy light and they sound pretty good. That's the other thing with the TaoTronics is they sounded amazing.
Yeah.
Now here's the button issue I was talking about. When you're wearing the ones at the TaoTronics, by the way, I'm just going to switch up how I say that every time. And picture, like we were talking about the Bluetooth, where it's like a straight bar across. I'm going to try to describe this as best as I can, but if it's straight across, right? So imagine you're wearing them and it's on the right ear. So your thumb is underneath it. So you can put pressure on the top. All three buttons are across the top.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's really easy to access the buttons. There's only three.
Yeah.
The forwardmost one is, I'm trying to remember now. I think the middle one's play, pause, answer your phone. I'm talking about on the other ones.
Oh, okay.
These ones are different. So yeah, there's one that's it's play, you answer your phone, pause, hang up, and then there's volume up and down, hold it skips a track, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. These ones, so picture the same thing. It's like a cross. The buttons are like if the earbud is in your ear, the buttons are all facing out away from your head.
Okay.
So they're not on anything. In order to press them, you have to like push it into your head.
Oh.
It's like a terrible design.
Yeah.
And so you have to try to get your thumb like under it while you're wearing them or take it off and adjust it.
Yeah, because the idea is like if you're turning up volume, obviously if you push it into your head more, you get a louder volume anyways.
And it's going to hurt. Like you shouldn't be jamming your headphones in your
Exactly.
head.
It's like putting Q-tips in your ear or whatever.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like something you're not supposed to do.
Yeah, they're supposed to hold in there like in a comfortable, safe way.
Yeah.
So that's a little frustrating, and I noticed it a lot because I wear them at work. If somebody walks up to me, I immediately pause.
Yeah, that's what I had to do. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, exactly. So, but the other thing about these is the play button doesn't pause anything. So I actually have to go to my phone and select pause with these. And I also, this I could be wrong with, but I don't think the volume buttons skip tracks.
Oh.
They work, but they don't skip tracks. So, which I feel like a lot of the function for these is working out. And like people, like that access is like a really important part.
Yeah, the idea is to not access your phone, basically. Be able to do everything you need through the headphones.
Just through the headphones. So, I mean, they are super light, like I said, and they sound great. But comparatively, I'm so stoked to get the other pair back.
Yeah.
The other thing,
comfort-wise, are they more comfortable?
Comfort? No, I think the other ones were.
All right.
The other ones were heavier. You can feel the weight more, but they're super comfortable. These ones, I will say, you kind of forget they're there.
Okay.
Because they're so light.
Yeah.
But with everything else, I don't know if they're more comfortable. I don't know. Now I'm kind of thinking about it because they are so light. That's like the main thing. When I put them on first, I was like, oh, snap.
But it is missing features.
The features are, I mean, I would trade those for sure, but I'm
Yeah.
trying to think, like, maybe I answered too quick because these are pretty comfortable. But the other ones aren't uncomfortable at all. And even though the hooks that go around the ears are thicker, they're not, like, they don't hurt by any means. So these ones you barely feel, but if you have them on wrong, you feel them in a bad way, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of stoked that I'm going to have 2 pair because I will say the mic on these is really good.
Oh, okay.
Because I have used it for phone calls and stuff like that.
That's cool. I didn't even know it had a microphone.
Yeah. A lot of them do, and I'm stoked to have a couple pairs because now I'll probably keep one in my backpack, one in my car, whatever.
Yeah.
The other thing about these ones, these Jam Transit ones, is the distance. It says it's up to 30 feet of distance. 30, that's redundant. Up to 30 feet of, what's the word? Like, you can be 30 feet away and
like
still be connected.
Bluetooth connectivity. Or
yeah,
whatever.
I guess connectivity is the word I'm looking for. I don't know. Range.
Okay.
30-foot range.
Yes.
But it's definitely not nearly as good as the other pair that I had, the TaoTronics. Because those, I'm in the same workspace that I was, and I would walk down like 4 aisles and still hear everything fine. On these, I just turn around and walk in the other direction and it starts cracking up.
So I wonder if that's something to do with the Bluetooth that they have installed on it. Like it's just not
it's possible
good working receiver or whatever.
It's possible.
What's the opposite of a receiver? Sender.
What is the word for that?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Everything just receives nowadays.
Yeah, I guess so.
Always take with these electronics.
That's all they ever do.
These ones are also supposed to be sweat resistant.
Yes.
I don't know how to judge that other than I've been sweaty while wearing them before and they're not broken.
And they still work.
So these aren't awful. And if someone were able to find these and needed a pair of headphones, you could do it. But if you can wait like a couple days and you have Amazon Prime, TaoTronics, if you look up those headphones.
Plus the price difference alone.
Yeah,
that one was an extra $15.
Yep.
So, it just seems smarter to look elsewhere.
Right. And it's a weird toss up at this point because I don't know. I mean, those only lasted, I've had them since December. So what is that? 8 months?
Give or take.
So, and nothing happened to them. If they suffered any kind of trauma, as some of my things do, that would be one thing. But I don't know why they cut out. So we'll see how this next pair is.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've been really stoked on random little pieces of tech lately. So I wanted to go ahead and compare those while I could.
Absolutely.
I guess that's all I got in tech. Do you have anything?
No.
TV?
TV?
Sweet. All right, I have one thing I got to hit in TV, but you can go first because I just talked tech for a while.
Well, mine's just like a quick, I don't even want to call it a review, like a midway review, I guess.
A midway review.
So I am currently a little less than halfway through Iron Fist.
Iron Fist.
I
should have known.
All
right, first.
Yes.
Can you? Well, maybe that's a thing for later. Never mind. Carry on.
Okay, so.
Remind me I had a thing.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So, my initial impression.
Yeah.
I was impressed. I have heard nothing but bad things about it. They said like the first episode was terrible. There's just nothing going on and stuff. I liked it. I was hooked. I was interested in the characters, the story they were setting up. I do like the connections to like Chinese mythology and like various monks and all this stuff. And that's just because I really like Asian countries and all that stuff anyway, so it interests me. And the kung fu aspects, I mean,
for sure,
you can't go wrong. But as I progressed through it, like, not that it's not capturing me as much. It's like
really?
It was almost like the honeymoon phase. Like I'm currently like it's. I don't know how to explain it, but there's just noticeable, like it almost seems like lazy filmmaking that I've noticed.
Interesting.
Why?
I would expect that it would go the opposite way where it would get better.
It would get better. And there are aspects that are interesting. There are like little threads of story that are getting better. But there are just certain things like for instance, the action. It's getting progressively worse in my opinion throughout as we go on. There's one character, I can't remember her name, but she's like the Japanese dojo instructor.
Oh, yeah.
Can't think of her name because you guys know how bad I am with names. But she started off and she had a pretty cool fight scene early on.
Yeah, in the first episode?
Yeah, first or second. I don't remember. I watched them together, but
I watched one like a year ago. So.
But yeah, she had a pretty cool fight scene. But she gets more fight scenes as the story progresses. But for some reason, it never looks like her fists and stuff connect. Like, I don't know if that has to do with the choreography or if she is not like a really good fighter or something. Like, I don't know what it is, but like a lot of it, you just see like a quick, like, I'm showing you in the video, but basically she gets like that close, but it's super noticeable that she doesn't hit the guy.
So it's like an old episode of Power Rangers.
Yes, pretty much. Their limbs are flying around, but nobody's hitting anybody.
Huh.
So it was just like noticeable, and especially when they put in the punch sound effects, I'm like, this is just so like weird. It's just throwing me off.
Strange. Do you think they're going for like an old school feel? Like,
no, because if they were, they would have been more ridiculous with it, I think.
Yeah.
But and the same with Danny, the main character of the show. He has a few fight scenes, and the same thing. They're like they don't look as powerful as the hits, like as the guys react to it. So like there's a shot where he like grabs a guy and knees him in the face. But the guy reacts like his face just got exploded, but the attack itself does not
pretty
look
weak.
Yeah, it doesn't look like.
Well, that's like the Luke Cage effect in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's how I felt about a lot of those fight scenes. I chalked that up to like just the difficulty of showing a man with his strength fighting a bunch of guys. But there were a couple moments where I was like,
just
like,
a little.
And it was the same thing. It was guys overreacting to like a hit or being thrown or something like that.
Yeah.
So it was like too anticipated or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like the guys obviously knew it was coming. They were acting and stuff, but they just didn't act well. So, and I think a show that's mainly focused on kung fu should have really good kung fu.
Yeah.
So that was a little concerning. I mean, that being said, I'm only on episode 5 out of
12
or 13 or something. So there's still plenty of room for improvement, and it is like most freshman TV shows. The first season could be great or terrible. And they just need to get their bearings, So that being said, the story, I'm certainly interested. There's a lot of aspects with the hand that they're developing on.
Okay.
Showing people that are connected to it and how much of a threat they are. So that's super interesting because they've been like alluding to it throughout all the shows, Daredevil and stuff. So that's exciting to hear about. And there's a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Like businessy aspects to it. Like it's as compared to other Marvel shows, like this has a more there's a show I'm trying to think of like Blue Collars or like a Law and Order type of show where there's a lot of like
a lot of suits.
Yeah, a lot of suits, a lot of business discussion, like that type of stuff.
Interesting.
Business espionage, like all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So that's interesting because it's certainly like, each show has kind of had their own theme to it, like Luke Cage with the hero of Harlem and like the African American community influence. This one has more of like a business and Chinese influence and
Is
like
it like corrupt
business corrupt business, and he obviously is like going in not a major spoiler, but the idea is basically he wants to get his company back.
Right.
And
no, that's like first episode.
Okay. Well, because I think in the first episode he wasn't super interested, but as the series goes on, he's like, oh wait, I actually do want this.
All right, now you're spoiling it, and I would like you to relax.
Okay, I'll calm down. But so it's his perspective of like, no, we should give this away for free, or we should be nice with this, as opposed to the guys in suits who are like, no, we just want money, so all those people can suffer. So there is a lot of cool elements, but it's losing me a little bit. I'm going to finish it, obviously, because Defenders comes out, I think, next week, second week of August. And I heard, I heard Danny has he's like the main focus of it. Like everyone.
Of Defenders?
Yeah, like,
Interesting.
Yeah, like everyone gets their own screen time, like the average amount and everything, but they focus on him, from what I've heard, at least in the first 4 episodes. And it's a miniseries. It's only 8 episodes.
Defenders?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Iron Fist is 13. I was just looking, so you still have a good amount of episodes to watch.
So I'm still with it, but it's funny. I had the opposite effect to everybody else. They didn't like the first episode, and then
instead it got better.
Yeah, over time.
But some people just totally bailed. I mean, the thing that sucks is in comparison, like I think everybody agrees Daredevil was insane.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It was just the best.
The best. Top
and
notch.
then Jessica Jones, like, I couldn't stop watching. Like, I watched those episodes end on end because it was just so intriguing.
Exactly. That's the word for it, too.
And and it just, like, it pulled you in. And then I felt the same way. I mean, Daredevil 2 was crazy. And then the Punisher thing, again, like, the intrigue and the story unraveling. And it's like an episode ends and you're like, what? Like,
yeah,
I
it's
can't
like
stop.
that's...
You know? So, and then I felt the same way with Luke Cage.
Luke Cage was tough, but like after I think the third or fourth episode, I was hooked. I was like, yeah, I'm liking this.
I think I had so much interest in it because it was so different that, like, the first few episodes, I mean, I didn't think it had any of that. I didn't think it suffered from being a new show at all.
No,
really.
it didn't have that like first season.
Yeah.
Trying to get their footing.
Yeah, and I didn't think Daredevil or Jessica Jones did either, really.
No, not at all, which is very surprising that Iron Fist is this way.
I think that's why people reacted the way that they did, too.
Yeah.
Because it has a little bit of that, like, oh, just stick with it. And the other ones were just like, boom, we're amazing.
They hit
it's
you
like,
hard.
So I don't know. It's very
I guess
strange.
because maybe those felt more like movies, and this one
did. This one feels like a show more.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, I'm still gonna stick with it.
Yeah.
I still think there's potential. After I saw the first 2 episodes, I was like, this is pretty good. This might like be high up on the list for me of shows. But like I said, as I watch more episodes, just things started getting worse for some reason.
Strange.
Doesn't mean don't watch it. Everyone should totally watch it.
I'm gonna watch it for sure.
Just to form their own opinion,
right?
First and foremost, but and maybe it does get better. I'm gonna watch it more and then be able to do a full synopsis. But
right, yeah, maybe next time we talk about it, we will both have seen it.
Yeah, I'm trying to watch 2 episodes a night.
Okay.
To see, and if it gets real good, maybe 3.
Yeah,
4,
right. Depending on when you start it.
Yes.
So I'll stay on the Marvel tip, and I'll say that after D23 and all the announcements for the new Marvel stuff coming out, I was like, man, I need to start catching up on things. So Rachel, my wife, and I have been catching up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
And I know we've talked about it in the past. No spoilers here or anything. We're on season 4. I just wanted to bring up that I've been with this show like since season 1 dragged a little bit early on.
Yeah.
I think everyone would agree.
But hands down, one of my favorite twists.
One of the most amazing.
Like,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievably
It's like
good.
it's so out of nowhere. And such a big ripple throughout the entire series was that one episode.
Right.
And this show, at least for me, has been consistently hitting it out of the park with these twists, with these turns, with these story elements that keep getting thrown in. I'm like, holy crap.
That's what's crazy to me is I think from that and it's before that moment too, because you start to kind of fall in love with the characters and stuff like that. But early on, I think everyone just kind of felt like, this just kind of feels like a Marvel does Law and Order or Criminal Minds or something like that, you know, which shows like that are great. But this is at the peak of Marvel, you know, the MCU. And so people were like a little unenthused, underwhelmed maybe. But then as it worked up and that twist and everything, I've been in it. So and like you said, I think it's always delivered. I mean, one of the finales was one of my favorite finales of any show, like season finales. And then there's that one episode that we always talk about where there's certain character spends an entire episode in this new setting that we've never seen before, and it's just incredible. The show's done a lot of amazing things. Yeah. So here we are in season 4, and we're watching it. There are, I want to say, 23 episodes.
Ooh, that's solid.
In this season. I'll confirm that, but what is crazy is we had stopped on, I don't know, we've probably watched 6 or 7 episodes within the past week or two. And hang on, I just want to see how many episodes there are. Because what's interesting to me is this episode that we just watched. Yeah, so there's 22 episodes in this season.
Okay.
We just watched episode number 15.
All right.
Called Self-Control. This episode is so intense. Like, seriously, at the end of it, we both almost cried at one moment. There is like this, the show takes this violent turn into being this like very high stakes sci-fi thriller. Okay. And the whole episode has this like really heavy tone, and the stakes are so high. Like, what is happening? Everything just changed. And I don't know. So this particular one was written by Jed Whedon.
Okay.
So I don't know if the Whedons just have this bone in their body that allows them to create these like sci-fi thriller masterpieces.
Yeah.
But this episode was unbelievable. And literally
so
like,
good.
and I bring up that there's 22 episodes because it's not like it's a finale. It's not even a pre-finale.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
just a random episode.
It's just an episode 15 of season 4.
I think
just
that's when the big twist in season 1 was as well. I think episode 15.
It makes sense because you're kind of like cresting, and then
it's like the climax, and then you
gotta bring it home within the next. I mean, that's still 7 episodes.
That's
it feels
a lot.
like a lot, you know. But what they've set up in this episode, there's still a lot to deal with before this season can end, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wanted to call attention to that episode 15 of season 4. I was just like, good Lord.
Mm-hmm.
This, like, it ended and Rachel was just like, whew, that was intense. And I was like, seriously, that wasn't just me, right? And then we just started going through the scenes that like when this happened and when this person did this, and like it was heavy. And the way it ends is just like, wow.
I love that when you're almost tired after watching an episode because it just puts you on an emotional roller coaster.
It really did, dude. There were tears and there was blood and twists and major things with major characters, and you just didn't see it coming because we're just mid-season, you know, like, and it was
working episode to episode.
Yeah, and what was a bummer is that is a night I would have wanted to watch like 2 more, but we just started it way too late. It was already getting into the wee hours of the morning, so we had to cut it there. But man, what an episode. And I'm just glad, like, it's so far along now that it's interesting to think back to earlier seasons and realize that I've been watching this show for almost 4 full seasons, you know? Because I remember when it came out, I was like, I don't know if it's going to last. People aren't really loving it, you know? But I'm really glad that it has, and it's really, really good.
It is. It's a very neat show.
It is a show I feel comfortable 4 seasons in. I would tell someone, like, no, just commit, start at episode 1 and catch up because it's
that good.
It's so good. I love it.
Dude, I'm totally with you.
Yeah. Are you caught up? Where are you?
The start of season 4. So I haven't even
started season 4.
Yeah, I haven't
okay.
seen the first episode. So,
dude, it's an interesting season. It's very interesting. It, you know, because the show is in the universe that it's in, they kind of can pull from many different directions and aspects.
Yeah, one of the big things this season was Ghost Rider.
Yes.
And that is such a departure from, because in the past seasons we dealt with like aliens and espionage and superheroes and all this stuff. So to go to Ghost Rider, which his connection is with hell, so it takes a much more, I assume, spiritual route. And so it's crazy how diverse they can get with their storytelling, you know, being able to reach, like, now they can reference hell, and it's like, oh man, it's an actual place.
There's
like,
that,
and all this stuff. And obviously I haven't seen it, but just knowing that, it's going to make it so much more interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, something like that can open doors to many more characters. And just as, I don't want to make this spoilery at all, but something interesting about this season, we're past, you know, mid-season at episode 15, and I realized, like, this episode, like, Ghost Rider is not even a thing right now.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying whether that's good or bad. It's just we're now in something else completely in this episode.
You're in, like, their own story involving the characters, and it's Ghost Rider's like doing whatever he's doing. Yeah.
So this season is a ride, dude. Like, and the Ghost Rider stuff's really cool. But yeah, you should definitely try to catch up because it's
on Netflix, right? The whole season.
Yeah, the whole season. That's what we're doing right now. Catching up on Netflix, and then I think I'm gonna jump to Iron Fist. Yeah. And I want to sneak Castlevania in there.
Yeah, that one's a short one. So totally worth a watch.
But that's it. That's all I got in TV.
Yeah, me too.
I have no movies this week.
Me neither.
I did watch Mortal Kombat for a little bit the other day.
Just a wee bit.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about that movie. It's
so funny.
It's certainly something. I have video games, so we can jump into that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Video games.
All right. Video James.
Okay, it's everyone's favorite time of the month. Games with Gold for Xbox has been announced.
All right.
And PlayStation Plus.
Right, yeah, whatever.
Those are good games.
I know, but I don't have a PlayStation, so I have to act like it's on purpose.
What?
That I don't have one. Like, I don't like PlayStation.
but you love it.
I'm embarrassed, Tim.
Hey, it was your choice. You wanted to get the Xbox.
I did want an Xbox.
All right, let me get to the grimy good games.
Triple G.
Speaking of grimy good games,
Yep.
Slime Rancher.
I don't know what that is.
Me neither.
All right, moving on.
I think from what I've seen in the pictures, it's like a slime
Ranching game.
Yes. I think you like grow slimes and use them to fight other slimes and like create an animal slime kingdom. It looks kind of like Minecraft.
Oh, I'm not a Minecraft guy.
I think, anyways. I could be way off. You're looking it up right now.
Now this is on Xbox?
Yes.
Okay. No,
It-
ooh, kitties.
Yeah, see, there's like slime kitties and I don't know. You do stuff in it. Look,
Yeah.
there's little slime balls. I don't know. It's a game.
It
It's free.
looks cute.
It's very cutesy, very colorful.
Ooh, a gun.
Yeah, he's got a gun, so maybe you kill the slimes. But see, they're like in cages.
Yeah.
So maybe you fight slimes. I don't know. Slime Rancher.
Slime Rancher.
Anyways, let's get to something more interesting. Trials Fusion is the second game for Xbox One.
That sounds familiar.
That's the motorcycle physics-based side-scrolling driving game.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fun.
Fusion was really good too. It has a lot of elements of what's the word I'm looking for? It has a big like creation
Elephant.
elements. Anyways, it has this big community of people who can create custom maps, and it leads to so many of ridiculous. There's like first person horror, there's like Marble Blast Ultra type games. There's
What?
mazes. There's because they figured out a way where they can like focus the camera on an object and give you the ability to control the object. So yeah, there is a main story, there's multiplayer, there's all this
Sure.
stuff. But I think the shining moment of this game is the community maps
Interesting.
because it's endless possibilities.
That sounds
It's great.
like a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. I mean, but the game itself is really cool. It's like a platforming motorcycle game. Very difficult, but a blast. I had a great time with it. And this is the third one in the Trials series. So,
Okay.
but you don't need the story. This one actually has more story than the other two, and it's not even really
yeah,
a
that's
story.
weird. I don't even think of it as having a story. at
Yeah,
all.
it's all arcade fun. Next, this is a 360 game,
Okay.
Bayonetta.
Oh, sweet! I've never played it.
It's so excellent.
I'm excited.
Yeah, this is from the creator of Devil May Cry.
Oh, yes.
And it is, I mean, way down that alley. It's a third-person action brawler, beat 'em up, and it's really good.
I'm stoked about
yeah,
that.
it's got a great soundtrack, very weird story, but that's the
Yeah.
typical Japanese style.
hair clothes.
Hair clothes, yes. The
Yeah.
more you get hurt, the more your hair disappears, and the more naked she becomes.
Right.
But she's never fully naked.
Right.
Not until the sequel, anyways.
Really?
That's on the Wii U,
Weird.
Nintendo.
Oh yeah, we've talked about that. It's very strange.
But I don't think she gets naked in that one either. Anyways, very good game. I loved it. And the fourth one, the last one,
yeah.
Red Faction Armageddon.
Wow.
Pretty cool. I believe. Let me see.
Red Faction.
Yeah. So this is a departure from usual Red Faction because older Red Faction's first-person shooter.
Yeah.
This one's a third-person destructathon, is what I want to call it.
What the heck is a destructathon?
Basically where you go around and can destroy any environment to help you survive. But
Sounds pretty cool. I
I
guess.
can't remember if Armageddon's the first one or the second one because the first one's really good, the second one's not good. So let me just do this.
Sci-fi games. That doesn't sound good.
Sci-fi games.
Is that a thing?
Did Sci-Fi make it? I see THQ, which went out of business. So, yeah, it's. I'm not sure. I don't remember. Well, if it's the first one, it is an open world Mars game where you're on Mars and you go around and like help these bases and fight things. Third person shooter.
Does this look familiar?
That looks like the second one, which is a mission based game. So you just go from mission to mission.
You said
and
it sucks.
it's not nearly as good. They kind of took away a lot of your destruction abilities and yeah, I don't know. It just wasn't nearly as good as the first one, if that's the case.
Well,
But regardless, it's still a game that's free, and a lot of people might like it.
true.
Trooby doobies.
Give it a shot.
So those are the 4 Xbox games.
Let's do the PlayStation.
Hold on, let me pull them up. Brett Van.
PlayStation.
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 Play with the station.
I'm gonna try to make the old PlayStation noise.
Okay. And I'll do the second one. No, that's Capcom. That was actually very good. All right. Oh, crap. We're going to hear it, aren't we?
I don't know.
Okay, so want me to jump into PlayStation?
Yes.
Okay, so the first game for PlayStation 4 is...
Oh, there's only 2.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
All right.
So the first one for PS4 is Just Cause 3.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's a really good game. Kind of frame rate issues on it, but this is a third-person shooter where you...
I butchered that.
Yeah, you did.
That's the thing I tried to do at the end.
That is such an interesting array of sounds.
It is a lot. Like, I feel like someone spent a lot of time producing
I wonder what they used.
Mostly pots and pans, I think.
Brett.
So, Just Cause, action, adventure,
Yeah.
dogfighter.
Yeah, actually. You do get in jets. It's like a sandbox open world fun game. It's really
I
good.
love sand.
And the other one for PS4,
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry,
What is that?
which this is a standalone game that came out for Assassin's Creed 4. This is where you play as Adewale.
Adewale!
Yeah. Where he wants to liberate all the slaves
Adewale!
and free the world from
Adewale!
tyranny. Adewale.
Adewale!
It's pretty fun. Assassin's
Adewale!
Creed 4. Except you play
Adewale!
as a new guy.
Adewale!
Look, you made the dogs bark. So PS3, Super Motherload. I'm going to go with, I don't know this game, but I'm going to take a guess and say it is a drill mining game where you want to collect the most things and get the Motherload.
Super Motherload. I'm going to say it's a truck racing game.
Okay. Super Motherload.
Super Motherload is a 1 to 4 player couch co-op digging adventure game.
Oh!
Let's see.
I knew it.
The cover looks extremely
Basic.
silly.
Well, you guys can have fun with that on your PS3 because I
Yeah.
know that's what everyone's looking for.
It's an Adobe Flash game.
Is it?
That's what it says.
Okay. I'll play it. So the next game is Snake Ball. I'll let you go first this time.
Snake Ball is a game in which you play Snake Ball.
Okay, I'm going to go with it's a Snake clone, except the balls are the enemies.
Snake Ball is a downloadable PSN game on the PlayStation Store. It is a 3D remake of the video game Snake. Snake Ball was developed in collaboration between the British Gamula Soft and the Norwegian Rabin Studio. Did you know that already?
No, I don't know any of these.
Dude, why? Okay, whatever.
Are the balls the enemies, though?
Yeah, sure, it looks like it. I mean, I think that's what I'm looking at right there.
That actually looks pretty fun.
It does look pretty grooves.
Oh. Okay, so the next one is PS Vita and cross-buy with PS4, so you can play it on both. It's called Downwell. I know what this one is, but go ahead.
Downwell, I'm going to say, is some kind of Western game where you shoot stuff.
It's a game where...
Nailed it.
Yeah, you had it.
10 out of 10. Holy Christmas.
It's actually pretty neat. It has like the graphic capabilities of, I'd say like Super Metroid or the Super Nintendo era, but you basically, your goal is to get as far down as possible. And think of it as like, what's that iOS game that you play with the frog, but you jump up? Super Frog or something?
Oh, yeah.
Frog Jump.
I have no idea, but I know.
Okay.
It might be, I don't know what it's called, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's one of those type of games where you have to like slowly descend and you get, you've been staring at that for like 10 minutes.
It's so cool.
It is. Graphically, it's very pretty.
So can you only, you can only shoot down?
Yes, and you get, depending on who you kill or what different areas you go to, you get different guns. So there's like a super laser, there's a shotgun, a machine gun, a pistol, but it's all with your feet. And your goal, obviously, is to get as far down as possible. And the farther you get and the more points you get different upgrades. You can change your colors, change the backgrounds.
Oh, snap. This looks dope.
It's really cool. It originally actually was a iPhone game. You can get it on the phone. I don't know if it's free or $1, but it was really neat. I got it because a YouTuber I watched actually suggested it, so I was like, hey, I'll get it. It's on sale. So that's cool. It's gonna be free because totally worth it.
$2.99.
$2.99.
It's not that bad.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool game. And the last one, this one's PS Vita only.
Okay.
Level 22.
That is where you blow up things to get $22.
All right, I'm going to say it's an escape room game where you're in an elevator and you have to hit level 22 to beat it.
Damn, that one sounds so much better.
Level 22 PS Vita. He's looking it up, folks.
Yeah, sorry for the silence. I accidentally looked up level 22 Pavilion.
Of course.
Level 22 action game for PS Vita console. Explore level. All right, just tell me what it is, though. The other ones just came right up and told me what it was.
And that one, are they in an elevator?
22. No.
I didn't know that one, folks. I'm sorry, I failed you.
Well, let me.
Hurry up, Brett. The camera's about to die.
No, I'm trying. I'm sorry. Oh, now it's telling.
Well, those are your PlayStation games.
Now it's just telling me what a Vita is.
I don't know.
Y'all are gonna have to look this one up. I don't know.
Level 22. That's the mystery.
It is a mystery. Oh wait. The first stealth game set in the merciless and frenetic world of work. Gary is an office worker who oversleeps after a drunken night out on the town.
I bet there's elevators.
Here's where it gets tricky because this isn't the first time Gary's been late for work, and he could be fired if he's spotted arriving at his desk after everyone else yet again. So he'll have to prove he's smart and sneaky enough to make his way up all the 22 floors to his office. That's pretty close.
That's pretty close.
Wow.
Wow, indeed. That's neat. Well, folks, those are your games for the month of August on both PlayStation and Xbox.
Wow.
This is all luck of the draw.
I'm impressed.
Thanks. So you do have to ascend to level 22.
Yeah.
Which is his office. Wow. But it's not an escape room. Well, technically you have to escape.
It's sneaky and stealthy and...
Wow.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
We got books.
Oh my God, we have literature.
Literature.
All right, let's go.
Okay.
Have you read anything good lately?
All right, well, there's a transition we don't get to use very often.
Yes, welcome to the Keep Up Book Club.
Holy Christmas, are you that far?
Yeah.
Are that already?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Dude, I am really enjoying it.
So is it awesome?
It's awesome.
All right, so I went to the library recently, and Tim and I went to Bull Moose recently.
As well.
Which is a New England... it's not even just a record store anymore.
It's a New England entertainment store.
Maine-based. Also 2 locations in New Hampshire.
Nice.
Ooh, are there 3 now?
Ooh.
I think there's still just 2.
Okay.
Salem and Portsmouth.
Shame.
But a lovely establishment.
Yes.
Of whom I am very fond.
Yes.
And they have many, many books.
Many, many books.
So, Tim, what'd you get?
I got a book
Hmm.
called Lone Wolf and Cub.
Now, I, as a previous employee at Bull Moose, had seen that on the shelf multiple times.
Yes.
And was real interested.
It certainly, that is what grabbed me because I have heard nothing about this before. So this is a manga series. I used to say manga all the time.
I know, I'm trying to adjust. It's not manga.
It's manga.
It's manga.
So,
let's just commit.
Manga.
It's manga. This is the stupid word thing.
Yes.
You get nervous to say what you know is right.
Right.
Episode 59.
Ninja Gaiden or Gaiden?
It's Gaiden.
I always say Gaiden.
I know, but
and
it's
I
Gaiden.
will forever for the rest of my life.
It's probably even Gaiden. It's
yeah.
probably
Oh, yeah.
that.
You have to like emphasize it. Gaiden.
I think it's Gaiden.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably where the accent is on the den. But
well, shouldn't there be a symbol or something to signify that?
It's not Spanish.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying that's probably how you pronounce it.
Gaiden.
It's probably Gaiden.
Yeah. A den full of guys.
Yeah, it's a Gaiden.
Instead of a gay den.
Or, you're right. Well, that could also be a
I
den
guess
full
so.
of guys.
No matter what, it's something.
It's a den full of guys.
Yeah.
Gaiden.
So we're starting with mine then?
Start with yours.
Okay.
Lone Wolf and Cub. Now, it looks like it's about a samurai.
A samurai.
A samurai?
A samurai.
Do you say samurai?
Samurai.
That's what I say, but I think samurai.
We're not getting into that.
I'm just saying.
It's samurai.
There's a hard U in there.
It's not hard enough.
Samurai.
Garfield.
That's so America.
So America. Samurai.
Samu.
Well, you could make it like Samurai.
Samurai.
You could say it with the accent that you need.
Samurai.
No, because now you're going to confuse me, and I'm going to always read it.
All right,
so,
tell me about this sweet literature.
This thing,
It's massive, dude.
It's massive. It is. It's I believe it's 700 pages.
Holy Christmas.
Yeah, 706 pages. So this collects volumes 1, 2, and 3 of the manga that came out.
Oh, it's omnibus.
Yeah, so there are 12 of those. So there's a total of 28 volumes.
Wow.
Which an average, I'll probably put a picture up here, but an average manga.
I saw Kojima real quick.
Oh.
I was like, the man does everything.
He's everywhere.
Goseki Kojima.
So this was initially published in 1970.
Really?
Yeah, so it's very old. But that being said, it is written like a classic, if that makes sense. Just reading it, just going through the first story, I was like, oh man, this is, there's lots of ladies. This is, I can already tell just by reading the first page, I'm like, this must be a masterpiece. This is probably like the highest class manga out there.
What is it, the writing?
It's the writing, it's the storytelling, it's the art. You can just tell because there's a lot of just blank panels. You just go through and flip through like 5 or 6 pages, and it's just imagery. Yeah, that's all it is. And it's just like beautiful landscapes or destroyed landscapes or bodies or whatever the situation is set up with this story. But anyways, I'll go with the basic synopsis. This is the story of a samurai who has been branded as a traitor to all samurai dumb. He was initially a executioner for I don't remember what the highest level. It's either a dynamo. I don't know how to pronounce it. Dynamo, one of those things.
Okay.
But think like a hierarchy, but Japanese.
Sure.
So there's like a king, and then there's like all the other classes. But that's a very generalization. There's so much more to it. And that's one of the things with this book is that it is very, very Japanese. So in a sense, if you're not into
culturally or
just like there's so many words in there that you really just get from context. They actually do have a glossary at the end of the book to explain a lot of the words that they use.
Interesting.
Which is super neat because they're like there's also a beginning. I think it's called a foreword at the beginning of the book.
Yeah.
Note to readers, and it basically says there's a lot of words in here that, as an American audience, does not translate well. So we're gonna leave it in the book as what it sounds like, and then basically the context of how it's said.
That is super cool.
It's really cool. So it's like just culturally accurate. Historically, it's amazing. Just like all the details they tell you about the Japanese hierarchy and like how there's like the top level, they're Hans, which are like the underlings of the, I believe it's Dynamo. I think he's the top, or there's something higher than that.
I just love that you're having to learn this stuff as you're reading it.
I know, that's
like for real. That's awesome.
It's so cool. And I have like a little base knowledge from high school. I remember in history I learned all about this stuff, and from all the Japanese movies I've seen and stuff, there has been all this talk about it. But anyways, he is the father to this young kid, the cub, as you will.
Okay.
And because he's like excommunicated, he has to basically protect him. Well, he right now he's an assassin for hire. Where I am in the book, he is just like on the road.
A daimyo. Yeah.
See,
A feudal lord.
Yes.
You know why I know that word?
Why?
From Ninja Turtles 3.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god, because they go to feudal Japan.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And
so they have
never understood what that word was because
Yeah.
a couple people say like daimyo.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what is that word? And I just saw it now, and all of that went through my brain. I was like, that's what they're saying.
That movie makes so much more sense now.
Wow. A feudal lord. I'm sorry, totally cut you off.
No, I'm glad you looked it up because I sound idiotic saying dynamo.
No, I thought you were right.
So yeah, looking through the glossary. But anyways, this is just like, you can tell how much it influences so many other things nowadays too.
Really?
Like I think the biggest one, at least for me, is Samurai Jack. I get like such a Samurai Jack feeling with the just like the landscapes, the situations he's in, like where he's surrounded by a bunch of guys and he slices through them real fast. Like it's funny. It's what I think all other samurai movies are like before reading this, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I think every movie or anything that has come samurai wise has been influenced by this in one way or another.
Interesting.
So the format of the story is episodic. So it's not you do learn big things about the character. Like I said, he was like excommunicated and like considered a traitor. You don't learn that till like chapter 8.
And he's just with his child.
Yes. So it's his son, and he has to protect him. And
Crazy.
The way they like just develop these characters is just unbelievable. Because like every episode I've read, I don't know, chapter, episode, however it's situated, but you just learn a little more about the kid and a little more about your main character, the lone wolf, and how like his name rings throughout all of Japan. Like if people are like, oh no, it's Lone Wolf and Cub, like, and it's funny that they call him Lone Wolf and Cub, like that's his official title, but everyone knows him. And some people are like, oh, I'm gonna beat him because clearly he can't be as strong as everyone says, and he just has a legacy throughout the whole thing. So
it's like Guts from
yes,
Berserk.
exactly.
That's what that just reminded me of.
Yeah, and that people compare that to this a lot because
really?
Because same like level of character development. Like there's like this mysterious, ridiculously strong character, and you learn so much about his pain and suffering and all the stuff he goes through to get to where he is now. But it's unbelievable. Just written geniusly. The art's amazing. It's violent. It's adult. I think what my idea of a manga would be. This is it. Like
that captures it.
Yeah, and I don't know what else to say other than read it. You know.
Yeah.
But it's such an easy format to get into. Like there's a lot of reading at first because you do have to figure out like what are all these things like in this history and stuff. But even with that, it's so interesting.
Dude, I love that. I'm a big fan of. There's one that I read too. Blade of the Immortal. Have you ever read any Blade of the Immortal?
Cough, cough. Next on the list.
Interesting. So, had you ever read any before?
No, I never.
No, that's the one I suggested to you.
Yeah.
Right? So good, and very similarly has. Does that one have any words in it? Actually,
at all? I would assume so. It wouldn't be a good story without it.
It does. Well, no, I mean, there was one that I read that had like pages and pages with no words at all, no text. And
I mean, I guess that happens with a lot of the fighting. There's no text.
Yeah, well, I was just flipping through here, and like you were saying, there are a few sections where it's just page after page where the story is strictly visual.
Yes.
And I'm a big fan of those sections because it's almost like when you're reading it, everything kind of like comes to a still, and you're all of a sudden imagining so much. You have to apply your own sounds and your own colors in this case because it's black and white to the scenes you're seeing. And it's just very, very interesting. And when I was at the library with the kids the other day, Simi, she was picking out like 5 books to read. She's been like blasting through books. It's like her jam right now.
That's awesome.
So I saw this book called Quest, and it was a kid's book, and I opened it up. It's all these like sprawling like fantasy adventure settings, but it's these 2 kids going through, and it's an ongoing story.
Is it a graphic novel or a book?
No,
like
it just looks like, it's like a hardcover children's book.
Yeah.
And I guess you'd call it like young readers. Okay. But it's not thick. It's like a kid's book, and no text throughout the whole thing.
Wow.
And I showed Simi, and she was like, "Ooh, that's easy to read." And I was like, "Yeah." And
sure
I was like, "The story looks sweet." So I was just flipping through it, and I was like, "This is awesome."
So the story's told with no text at all.
No
it's
text.
Just like, that's really
strictly images.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, there they kind of leave it up to the reader to make their story, make the sound effects, make all that stuff. So, that's incredible.
Yeah, and I like that in the midst of a story that does have text because, like I said, it kind of almost feels like maybe you can think of an example, but you ever watching a movie and all of a sudden all the sound cuts out, like intention, like it was an artistic decision.
Yeah.
That like whatever starts happening here, it's like, and then but the action still keeps going or whatever, and it just like
that
like
happens to John Wick a lot. Like it's just you hear like punches or sometimes no sound. And it's just like him beating the crap out
and
of
I guess
everybody.
Raimi kind of does it where he cuts everything except for the quick sounds.
Yeah.
Or a lot of space movies.
That's so.
If someone gets like sucked out of a ship and it's like.
It's just
all of a sudden you're outside and they're floating or whatever. Like I get that same thing when you're reading through a story and all of a sudden there's nothing. Happens in The Walking Dead a lot, actually. I ripped through the first couple. Were they
arcs?
No, I'm trying to remember what their collections were called.
Omnibuses.
They had omnibus too? Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, the first one I read in like 2 days.
Yeah.
Because
I know. I remember flying through that. That was so many pages, too. It was like...
They're really thick.
That one had over 1,000, right?
Yeah, it must have. I think it's like... I'm trying to remember how many issues it is. Like 70 or something like that. I don't know, something ridiculous.
Yeah, something awesome.
Maybe that's way off. No, it couldn't have been 70 because...
That'd be a lot of issues.
That's way too many. Because the second one ends... I don't know. We're not talking about The Walking Dead. But that sounds really good.
Yes.
And I'm glad you're reading Blade of the Immortal next. I feel like there's a really high intensity in these stories. Like I remember reading Blade of the Immortal. It's just so like heavy mood-wise.
Yeah, that's one thing with this. There's no like... There's morals with this main character, but it's not traditional morals. Like he's good in some regards, but other regards he's like, I'm one with the demon right now. Let's do this. Like
sounds like Berserk too.
It is.
Yeah,
it's
very similar.
Like I said, a lot of people compare it because like Berserk's up there considered one of the best as well. And this in all sense and purposes, it's epic. It is an epic tale of a samurai trying to get revenge, whatever he's trying to do. I honestly don't know his main goal. Right now, he's an assassin for hire, basically. And just the episodic storytelling's amazing because there's so many characters that get introduced. Like, I would say about, there's probably like 30 to 40 pages per story.
Okay.
But within that time, I learned like about 10 different characters and good guys, bad guys. On top of that, explaining more about Lone Wolf and Cub, like their story, their history. It's unbelievable how easy it is to read through this. And I'm like, I know everything about feudal Japan.
Is when you say it's episodic, so is each story kind of like self-contained? It's not like it ended here, so the next one starts here.
Yeah, there's one story, or I guess 2 stories that connect. But generally, it's him like doing whatever situation he's got to do, and then the next story starts with him in a new town or a new place, just walking or doing whatever it is.
It makes sense with the original format release was probably like here's a single story.
Yeah, I think that's how it was. Hold on, I pulled it up on Wikipedia, but but this thing when it came out in the 70s, like it was a phenomenon. Like it was. People praised it for its storytelling, for its character development, for its realistic take on feudal Japan. Because at that time in the 70s, like talking about Japan's past is like iffy. Like they just don't like talking about certain things, certain aspects because it, they kind of crumbled within themselves and stuff. So this was very like eye-opening to a lot of people too. It's like in a sense, a realistic, gritty version of samurai stories.
So, I'll take a crack at the names.
Yes.
Story by Katsuo Koike.
That was beautiful.
And art by Goseki Kojima.
Mm-hmm.
Goseki, that sounds like Italian. It's probably Goski or something.
Let me see it again.
Goski.
No, I think Goseki sounds right.
Goseki?
Yeah.
And the cover art, these are out on Dark Horse.
Yes.
So the cover art on Omnibus 1 is by Frank Miller.
Yeah, he hold on, let me pull this up. They initially re-released the series in the US in 2000.
Okay.
Oh, actually no. They did a American translated English edition by First Comics in 1987. And Frank Miller, he did a lot of the covers. And then they re-released it in these omnibus versions in 2000. And they took a lot of the covers he did for the first re-releases. They're adding those to these.
Oh, okay.
So that's what they're doing.
That's super sweet.
And yeah, it's cool. Each omnibus has the first 3 volumes. Or not the first 3, 3
but
volumes.
It has 3 volumes, yeah.
Yes.
They just keep re-releasing the first
People keep
3
buying
volumes.
them. I don't know why. So there's 12 total, totaling 8,000. I saw the number. It was like 8,200 pages or something. 8,700 pages.
Wow.
And the series is finished. It's over. And which is great. I'm glad. It's hard with manga to pick one up and be like, when is this going to end? Naruto got to, I don't even know, like 79 or something volumes, which is just so many pages.
That's a lot.
But regardless, this was awesome. I knew nothing about it going in, and I'm glad because it just had a cool cover and interesting title, Lone Wolf and Cub. How sweet is that?
So sweet.
But yeah, it's just like, it's amazing.
So big thumbs up on that one.
Big thumbs up. I'm gonna
Nice.
finish this book maybe tonight. I'm really into it.
Yeah.
And it was adapted, I guess, into 6 movies, some plays, a television series, and had a sequel series come out.
Wow.
So there's a lot of content there to
Yeah.
go through. But this is just, in all intents purposes, epic. And I'd say get it if you're into anything good. just in general. And yeah, next I'm going to work on Blade of the Immortal. Once again, heard nothing about this. Looks like another samurai epic.
It is.
And I'm excited.
You should be.
All right, Brett. Enough about my beautiful books. Let's hear about yours.
Okay.
Quick question before we talk about your book.
Sure.
Why do you think they all come in that plastic?
I don't know. To protect the dust covers, probably.
Okay, that makes sense.
Especially because this was in the kids section.
Oh, especially for
Yeah.
kids. Yeah, that's in the kids section?
Yeah. So.
Okay, yeah, let's hear
So
about it.
here's the story.
Yeah.
I was at the library with my lady,
Mm-hmm.
and the
No
wee
kids, though.
ones.
Oh.
No, the kids were there.
Okay.
Kids were there.
Shame.
And so we're walking around, and like I said, Sim was looking for. Sim is my daughter, to whom it may concern, or to whom is uninformed.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just walking around looking at books, because, man, you walk into a bookstore or a book aisle or a library, and all of a sudden you're like, huh, I want to read everything.
Everything. That's the thing. When we were at Bull Moose the other day, there was just so many books, and I'm like, I just want to read it all.
It's something about just being around them.
Yeah, and it makes me miss like Borders and like, I mean, Barnes and Noble's still around, but I've always wanted to just go in one day at like when they open and just sit in one of the chairs and read all day, you know?
I caught up to The Walking Dead doing that.
Really?
Back in the day. Yeah, I
Mhm.
went in and I would pick up the volumes, I would chill, and I'd bust through one.
It's so funny that they let you read it. Like,
yeah. I mean, well, not everything you can do like that, and most people like to have them.
yeah.
Like to own the books.
So
but
you can read it in comfort at home.
yeah, but with the trades, like something like The Walking Dead, I could blast through one on a lunch break at work.
Yeah.
You know? So, but yeah, so we're walking around. We're in the kids section, and I see this book on display. It's called The Singing Bones.
Mm-hmm.
And on the cover, it's you guys can look it up if you're watching the video. This is what it looks like. It's they're sculptures of a skull with a fox on top,
Mm-hmm.
and so it just caught my eye because that kind of stuff catches my eye, and it's a little bit like creepy and cute, I
Yeah.
guess. And I was like, this is interesting in the kids section,
Mm-hmm.
and is by an Australian author and artist named Shaun Tan, and it said forward by Neil Gaiman, and
Oh,
I'm a
nice.
huge Neil Gaiman fan.
Yeah.
So I was like, what is this? So I picked it up and I started flipping through it, and it's just single page stories, like most of them amounting to about a paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
And on the opposite side is a page with a photo of a sculpture.
Okay.
So it turns out this book is all sculptures inspired by Grimm's fairy tales.
Oh.
So the entire thing is these short form versions of the tales with a sculpture next to it, a picture of the sculpture by Shaun Tan.
Okay.
And the sculptures are like, they're just super gnarly. Like
Yeah.
they're so captivating, and they're really simple, but they're fantastical and weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a very like Coraline mood about it.
That's what it looks
I'm
like.
trying to think of what like a Tim Burton like.
And I
those-
think that has to do a lot with the lighting. Like just
totally
there's a lot of dark backgrounds and
Yep.
just like it's just overall dark.
Yeah, and the coloring in the statues themselves, or the sculptures themselves, I
That
should
one's
say.
crazy.
Yeah, so they're super wacky, and that caught my eye. I was just flipping through, and then the other day when I shouldn't say the other day. Sorry, I was looking at these, and then my brain just went to a bunch of
Because
places.
it's so pretty.
So this is what happened at the bookstore, or at the library. I picked
Mhm.
it up, and I was like, "What is this?" And flipping through it, I was like, "All right, I'm just gonna grab this." And then, how much do you know about the Brothers Grimm?
I know, like, obviously they wrote fairy tales. The original fairy tales, or were they existed
They actually
before?
collected them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
So
did they rewrite them themselves?
So
Or
some they
Okay.
adapted them.
Because I know, I mean, to my knowledge, they're all just fairy tales, but either told in their original format, where
Mhm.
where it's more dark and more dark, basically, or what? You go. You tell me.
That's the other thing, right? So the forward in this is by Neil Gaiman, and he
Yes.
talks a lot about how Shaun Tan captures these stories in a single, like it's one photograph of a sculpture that he made, one or two pieces or however many, and it captures the story visually somehow.
That's so weird.
And it really does. I mean, flipping through it and realizing, like, just seeing, I lost it, but I was looking at the Snow White one.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's like a horror about them, but they're kind of endearing, and it's very, very strange, but very captivating. And he captures an entire story in one piece of art. So, that's the forward with Neil Gaiman. He talks about that. And then there's a section, an introduction, How the Brothers Grimm Made Their Way into the World by Jack Zipes. Now, that kind of blew my mind because I am, for any who don't know, I'm a huge fairy tale fan. I have been for probably forever, like since watching Disney movies as a kid. But I don't know if it really hit me until I started reading Fables by Bill Willingham.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh my gosh, I just love it's just storytelling and the ability to like translate some sort of I just feel like they capture the freedom of like creativity. You can create any kind of like monster or land or whatever you want to do. And the original intent of a lot of them having some sort of like a moral or a message to convey. Just the whole thing is very fascinating to me. And Fables is also the greatest thing ever written. If you've never read it, I will always just put a side note, go read Fables. So as such a big fan, I'm reading this whole introduction about the Brothers Grimm, and there's so many cool things about them. I knew nothing about them. So they were actually, I want to give like a brief synopsis of like what is, and maybe people listening like know more about them than I do. But first thing, like they didn't write really dark fairy tales or versions of them. They adapted them. The original versions were called household and children's tales.
Okay.
They wanted them to be family friendly. So when they were 10 and 11, they were 2 of 6 children, and their father died. This is the late 1700s. And their mother sent them, they were like, I don't know if it was because their father passed away, but they were seen as like very lower class. So their mother sent them away to school, to university, and they excelled like crazy as scholars, and they wanted to, they actually studied, they were philologists. Are you familiar with that?
No.
Neither was I. It's essentially the study of language.
Okay.
So the history of language, dialect, that kind of thing. And that is what they really went after and really wanted to do.
Yeah.
They wrote the first German dictionary. Like that's,
What
they were
the
like
heck?
that level. Like that's
So
what
they were
did.
German.
They were German.
Okay.
Yeah. And they,
I didn't even know that. So.
yeah. So they, that's like where they were at as far as being scholarly.
Yeah.
Like they excelled like crazy.
Wow, that's
scholastically.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So they fell in love with folktales, and they made a pact together to collect folktales and adapt them into these editions to put out, because they saw the stories as a way to unite their area, their region of Germany. Like that was their goal, was to get all of these folktales and stories to people in a manner that whole households could read them. They, like I said, they adapted them to being like kid friendly so that families could read them together. And they saw them as a way, the language and the stories, to like bring people together and get people on on like a similar path of thinking. And so that was their whole goal with collecting these stories. And I almost want to just like
read
the whole thing, because I was like captivated. I was like, man, this is crazy. I did not know this about these guys. And if you can find the book, and I found this at my local library, but I'm sure you can find it online and whatnot. And now I kind of want to see if I can just find a book about the Grimms, because it's just like, it's just insane. I mean, they did so much on a scholarly level, where the point of this introduction was they were saying if they were alive today and knew that what they were famous for was their collections of folktales, they would be blown away, because they published books about German linguistics, law, customs. Like that is what they did.
Jeez.
But they were very passionate about the folktales too.
Yeah.
But in the introduction, it's saying that like it's been translated to something like 120 different languages. Man. Grimm's collection of fairy tales, you know. And the first couple editions that they put out were
I have it over there. Yeah.
you probably do have a version. I have a version at my house.
Mm-hmm.
They were very poorly received, the first couple editions they did, because people said it was too scholarly, but they just went right back to it. They edited the whole thing again, rewrote some, like they reworked them, put it out again, and it was poorly received again until a guy in London actually got hold of it and illustrated the whole thing and translated it. He was a translator in London, sent it to the Grimms, and they saw it with pictures and like fell in love with this is what it needs to be. Yeah. Republished it again, like just put out all these different editions.
That's incredible.
And the last thing I wanted to share about them that I thought was so sweet is that pact that they made. So one of the Grimms got married, the other one didn't, but lived with his brother and his wife.
Yeah.
And it said in this intro that up until they died, they had an office with desks facing one another.
That's so
always
cool.
like revising stuff and working together, and they always like kept to that pact to just continuously bring people folktales, and that was just like a passion of theirs.
Yeah.
But outside of it, like there's so much that they did, and I didn't know about any of it, you know.
Me neither.
And Rachel too. I was talking to her about it, and it's like there's a movie, The Brothers Grimm.
Yeah.
Like these dudes, like they'd be like, "What's a movie?" You know what I mean? And
what is
and
this?
I think a lot of people think that they're responsible for like the darker versions of the tales, and honestly, I think some of them were originally, and then they adapted them. And in the book, it says that it wasn't until the 70s, around the feminist movement in the 70s, because of a lot of the feminist writers who were, I don't know if they were just revising stories or bringing them back to their roots.
Yeah.
But that's when a lot of the darker like tales started coming out. A lot of those roots started coming out, which I love reading those too.
Yeah.
But it was just super, super interesting. So I was so stoked on this. And then I haven't gotten too far into the versions of the stories and the sculptures yet, but just that alone, and the intro by Neil Gaiman, who's like just an amazing writer.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to finish up and
so
go
basically
through all these.
What the stories are, it's one paragraph that tells the whole story, you think?
Yeah. So like right here is Hansel and Gretel, and it's just a portion of it. So I'll read you Hansel and Gretel. The roof was made of cake, and it tasted so good that Hansel ripped off a large piece and pulled it down, while Gretel pushed out a round piece of the sugar window pane, sat, and ate it with great relish. Suddenly the door opened, and a very old woman leaning on a crutch came slinking out of the house. Hansel and Gretel were so tremendously frightened that they dropped what they had in their hands, but the old woman wagged her head and said, "Well now, dear children, who brought you here? Just come inside and stay with me. Nobody's going to harm you." And that's all it has.
Oh,
and then the next page is
a new story.
The page next to it is the sculpture.
Right.
Which, as you can see, is horrifying.
Okay, so they're not the whole story.
They're not the whole story.
Okay.
No.
That's still cool though. Like it. So you get that, and then you get to see the picture with it.
And then it's like I don't know if it's like this is the portion that inspired it, because it shows. Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's what this is. Like looking at the Hansel and Gretel one, anyways. Yeah. So yeah, they're not. I may have misspoke earlier. They're not. I don't know if I said they're like condensed versions of the whole stories, but they're not even. They're like a paragraph from the story.
Yeah, just like a little tidbit.
But it's so cool. It's such a rad collection of things. It's photography, it's sculptures, it's storytelling.
Yeah.
And folktales.
What's it called one more time?
The Singing Bones by Shaun Tan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's really cool reading the, I think it's Neil Gaiman's foreword, where he talks about how he met the author, Shaun Tan, and how his attitude is like kind of quiet, and but how gifted he is as a writer and an artist. So yeah, I would suggest it. It's very, very interesting read. So a thing that my dad said to me when I was young was, "You will learn something when you read, no matter what you read." And I was like, even if it's just comic books? Because I was just trying to read comic books. And he was like, yeah, no matter what you read. And he was right. Like literally everything has something in it. And I was thinking about when you were reading that and you're learning all the words.
Yeah.
What is that called? Lone Wolf and Cub?
Yeah.
And I was reading this and I learned a bunch about the Grimm brothers.
That's awesome. That is
Just
true.
saying,
Like
learning stuff, bro.
It's a hard thing, because a lot of times when somebody sees someone reading a comic book, they're like, "Oh, he's reading a comic book." And even reading it, sometimes you feel like you don't, I don't know, get any information from it. But
Wrong.
It's
wrong, Tim.
Because I mean, whether or not it's, you either learn a new word, you get more about that that character, that story.
And you're seeing someone else's creativity. Like, even that is learning stuff. You know what I mean? You're taking something new in. It's good for you, Tim.
It is. Reading's great. I'm excited because I always find it real hard to get inspired to read. Even if it is comics, even if it is anything, it's like just reading to me is always like, ho hum. I could be watching a movie. I could be playing a game, doing something to stimulate my mind more. But I know this is manga, but it's still very stimulating to read. It's still a lot to read, and it's, I don't know. I'm just excited. I'm passionate right now.
Yes.
Passionate. Speaking of passionate, August 15th, Sonic Mania comes out.
Oh.
And it's got Sonic music. That I'm real excited for.
New music for you.
New music, yes, I'm excited. And on top of that, I got this bootleg Dreamcast game.
Okay.
It's so stupid, but
what is it?
So it's a Sonic. Well, actually, it's a collection of a bunch of Genesis games.
Okay.
But on top of that, it has a huge collection of Sonic fan games. So a lot of it is like Sonic 1, 2, and 3 redone with new levels or new characters or all this stuff.
What?
So I was playing one the other day. I think it's called Sonic ZX, I think. Incredibly difficult, but really cool.
So what is it?
It's Sonic 1, but with new sprites. Sonic looks more like Sonic Advanced Sonic.
Oh.
And he has new moves. So instead of just, running, obviously, in Sonic 1, you have the ability to do this. It's like his homing dash. In other Sonic games.
I'm familiar.
But it's like that, but instead he just automatically jumps and propels himself forward. So instead of doing the spin dash on the ground, he just jumps and launches himself. But it's like a whole new mechanic that I never thought of in a 2D Sonic game.
Interesting.
But it's really good. It's a fan game. And a lot of them are just like redone sprites. So Sonic looks way different. He either looks better, he's got new animations. So, but there's a huge collection of them. And I'm really excited to play a bunch of them. But yeah, this one I was playing Sonic ZX. It was very unfair too. It's very hard, but ZX. As long as it's not Marble Zone, I'm fine with anything. Is that a Eggman redone?
Yeah.
Is that Sonic Mania?
It's a retro remix?
Huh.
What's going to happen now?
I don't know that one.
I don't know. Yeah.
Is that with the guitar?
Yeah.
That's real neat. What's that one?
So, everybody should look up Kirby's Dream Band, the Pink album.
That's awesome. Kirby's Dream Land. I know they're banned, but that's a good play on words.
I'm glad you like it. Yeah, they have, let's see.
Like retro remakes of songs?
Yeah, pretty much.
Modern remakes of retro songs.
This one, so they have an album called Singles. Shibuya Shift, Fever from Dr. Mario. Chrono Trigger.
That's cool.
Echo Jr.
What's Echo Jr.? Oh, like Echo the
Dolphin? Yeah. Kirby. Wave Race 64. Neo Geo song.
What a weird array of songs.
That is crazy.
Yeah, plus some of the fan games have their own soundtracks, and they're actually really cool. I guess I consider it Sonic music, but it's totally in the vein of Sonic music, which is real cool.
You're in the vein of Sonic music. That's dark. All right, I'm done here.
Yeah, I'm done like chicken dinner.
Yep. Oh, I'm hungry.
I'm all right.
Thank you guys for hanging out.
Yes.
We will see you next week.
Mm-hmm.
And subscribe on iTunes if you haven't yet.
Subscribe to us on YouTube.
Yeah. Do that.
Do that. That do.
We're going to have a bunch of videos up there soon.
Yes.
It's going to be radical.
Mm-hmm.
The Keep Up VE.
Yes. Oh, we have the new thing.
Do we?
We do. I had to show you it after.
Sick.
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna leave him hanging while you.
Yeah.
While you do the thing you do. You're so excited.
I was. I forgot I had it. That's why. So have you ever thought when you open a DVD, you're like, this is the movie I want to watch. But then you put it in, and you're like, this isn't the movie I want to watch. And then it turns out you put in a CD, and you're like, wah, wah. So then you start listening to music, and the music turns out to be part of the DVD. And you're like, what am I doing right now? So then you start playing DVD games, and you're like, oh, crap, Shrek's behind me. And then you're like, well, I guess I'm just going to have a dance party with Shrek.